And walking towards the tunnel, it would just get brighter and brighter, and it felt like walking into a football stadium or something, because your eyes weren't quite adjusted, and it just kept getting brighter and brighter. And I remember we finally walk out of the tunnel, and I'm just like, holy fuck, dude. Like, it looked like it was like saturation on 200, like the whole 9 yards. Yo, what is going on, guys? I'm coming back at you with another video today, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the time that I got so high in a public park that I could barely even walk. Now, before we get too far into the video, let's go ahead and take a fat dab. Alright, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into the story. Now, this takes place all the way back in my freshman year of high school, back when I was 14 years old. And this is actually one of the first weed stories, or honestly, the stories in general that I have to tell on this channel. Because this was with the group of people that really influenced me a lot my freshman year. And I don't want to say these people necessarily got me into weed, but I wanted to be like them, and I thought they were cool. Now, on this day back in freshman year, this was a Saturday, and this was back right after I had gotten in trouble for sneaking out and gotten arrested and charged with a curfew violation, which you can see on my channel if you want to go check out that video. And this actually happened with the same person from that story, Jacob. So on this day, Jacob had some leftover weed that he wanted to smoke with me. Now, to be completely honest, I don't even really remember how he had gotten his hands on this weed, or really where it even came from, or what the context of us even smoking it was. I just remember one of us had hit the other up and been like, hey, let's smoke. So this took place at the tunnel, where we used to always meet up and smoke, because me and Jacob's houses were not that far away from each other. It's less than a mile. I don't know exactly how far they are, but it's a short walk. And this tunnel was almost exactly at the halfway point in between our houses. So this was always the place that we'd meet up to exchange shit or smoke or do whatever. Because there was just a giant fucking tunnel that went hundreds of feet in the ground. Or honestly, probably thousands. Probably more than thousands. Probably tens of thousands. No, not that far, actually. That's an exaggeration. Probably thousands. But you get it. And this day, we had met up, and I remember Jacob was the one who had the weed. And, you know, this was before we had grinders, pipes, anything like that. This was back when it was like, yo, find a can, and we gotta break it up with our hands. We had made a can pipe. I don't even remember what the actual brand of the can was or anything, but I remember we had made a can pipe, and this was probably only like half a gram of weed. It really was not that much weed. But back then for us, I mean, this was literally like, I think the third or fourth time I had ever smoked weed. So for me, this was more than enough. And I know it was for Jacob too, because he was in the same boat. So we break up the weed and we take our hits. And I remember we took, I want to say 4 hits each. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, fuck. 4 hits, man. I'm going to be so fucking high, bro. Whew. And, you know, we take our hits back and forth, you know, chuckling the whole time, feeling like a couple of little badasses. Meanwhile, we're just smoking in a fucking tunnel like a couple of crackheads. But we finished smoking the bowls, and immediately I was fucking blitzed. I don't even think this was some crazy good weed. Actually, I remember what this weed was. It was some lemon stuff that he had gotten from, I want to say, like, there's one chick's mom or something, and I remember he was stressing to me, yeah, man, this is some lemon stuff. And I remember when I was hitting it, I was like, damn, this does taste like lemon. So I mean, it was probably some So somewhere in the family tree of sour diesel or some shit, I would assume. Looking back on it now, that's kind of what it tasted like. But obviously at the time, I didn't know any of that shit. It just kind of tasted like lemons to me. And I just remember the feeling that I had when I was walking out of that tunnel. Every time you walked out of that tunnel, it felt so weird because, you know, your eyes would be adjusted to being in a literal pitch black tunnel with one light source at the end. And walking towards the tunnel, it would just get brighter and brighter. And it felt like walking into a football stadium or something because your eyes weren't quite adjusted and it just kept getting brighter and brighter. And I remember we finally walk out of the tunnel and I'm just like, holy fuck, dude. Like, it looked like it was like saturation on 200, like the whole 9 yards. Everything was just like, oh my God, bro. I was so high. And this was back in the day when every single time I would smoke, I would get this static feeling in my body. That's the best way I can describe it. Like, all throughout my body, all of my limbs, from my head to my toe, it would just feel like TV static was going through my body. And not like I was getting, like, tased or something like that. It felt like there was static in my body. That's the only way I can describe it. And then I would also get this super, super hard heartbeat in my chest. Like, it would literally feel like my heartbeat was jolting my entire body. It was the weirdest shit ever. And I haven't felt like that in a long time, man. Like, that only happened, I'd say, like, the first, like, 15 to 20 times I smoked weed. But goddamn, I miss that feeling. I mean, I don't want to feel like that every time I smoke weed now. But man, I wish I could experience that one more time. And it just so happened that this tunnel that we had just smoked in and walked out of was quite literally a block away from an elementary school. Which is really funny, because if the cops ever would have rolled up on us there, we would have gotten charged with, you know, smoking there, and then also, like, smoking within 1,000 feet of a school. Which is really funny, but luckily we never got caught there. But that's besides the point. We walked over to the park at the school, because, like I said, this was a Saturday, you know, we didn't have shit to do, and this was literally at, like, noon or 1, I want to say. It was very early in the day, so there really wasn't anyone, you know, on the playground or anything. So we mosey on over to the playground, and then I remember we sit down on the sidewalk, and we're sitting, like, in the little shaded area, and we're just sitting there like, holy fuck, bro. I'm just, like, so fucking high right now. Like, just the classic, like, textbook stoner, you know? And I had started to get to the point that I was getting so high that I didn't even know what was going on, man. I was just giggling my ass off, and, like, I don't remember exactly what I was doing, but I remember I was just, like, being fucking stupid, man. Like, I kept, like, poking Jacob, and I was just, like, not even making jokes, but I would just, like, poke him or say something retarded and be like, like, literally for a minute straight. I could not control myself. And then Jacob just kind of, I don't really know if it was out of the blue, but it felt out of the blue. He got up and he's like, hey man, I'm gonna go to the gas station. I think he said he had to get something for his dad, and then he wanted something too, or some shit like that. So I was like, alright bro, alright. And I remember I was sitting there just laying on the concrete, like, completely annihilated. Like, eyes were almost rolling back in my head, I was so high. And I'm just watching him walk off, and I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna do now? And then I proceed to get up, and I attempt to walk. But I don't even know if you could call this walking, man. I was so fucked up. It was literally like watching a drunk person, you know, swaying all over the place. Like, they take one step to the left and then they keep going with it on accident and almost fall over. It was literally that. That is how stoned I was. My equilibrium was just gone, bro. And I remember Jacob looked back at me and he was just like, holy fucking shit. Like, he did not know what to think of that, but he just kept going because he's like, well, fuck, what am I supposed to do? And he walks off, and then I mosey myself on over to the playground set, and I somehow climb up the playground set, probably at like 0.5 speed from how fucking high I was. But regardless, I get up to the playground set, and then I go to, like, one of the walkways that have the little arching part, and I just lay on my back, and I'm just looking up at the sky as it's like 1:30 in the afternoon, as a 14-year-old kid so high I don't even know what's going on. And I'm just like, holy fuck, dude. This is awesome. And then I go on my phone, and I start playing music. And I remember specifically, I started playing System of a Down. And I didn't have, like, earplugs in. I literally just started turning my phone all the way up and on the phone speaker and just laid it on my chest and just sat back with my eyes closed, just annihilated listening to music on a goddamn playground set at an elementary school. And then, at one point, I heard kids playing, and I was like, what the fuck? And I look over, and there's just these kids, like, playing or whatever. And I'm like, okay, whatever. They're not gonna fucking mind me here. So I just go back to laying down. And then I hear them stop playing. I could hear that they hadn't walked away, but I hear them, still playing. And then I look over, and they're not, like, staring at me, but, like, you know how a kid tries to subtly look at you, and it's very obvious they're trying to fucking, like, look at you, It was that type of thing. And I was so high, I just, without even questioning it, just went, fuck off, stop looking at me. And I don't even think they understood what I said, because, like, what I just said there was giving me a lot of credit. It sounded a lot worse than that. And I don't even think they understood what I said, really, and they kind of just went back to what they were doing, and I went back to what I was doing, and we didn't fuck with each other. Which is cool, I guess. I mean, mutual respect there, I guess. Gotta respect each other's territories. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about at this point. But anyways, I'm sitting there laying down listening to music, and then eventually Jacob comes back. He comes walking back over, and I don't even remember what he had. I remember he had some shit from the gas station, like some snacks or drinks or whatever. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna have these two people come meet up with us. And the two people we'll call them, we'll go ahead and call them Tony and Pablo. Now, Tony and Pablo, they were the, two people I was referencing specifically when I meant, these were the people that I really looked up to and thought were cool and wanted to be. So I was hyped. I was like, oh, dude, we're going to be smoking weed with the fuck. Oh, dude, fuck yeah. And then, I don't even, honestly, this is all so fuzzy because of how, just how obliterated I was. I mean, it's like a blackout drinking night trying to, describe it the next day. Like, I was at that level of high, and it's so fuzzy of a memory for me. But I think we just sat around for like 20 or 30 minutes. So Pablo and Tony, they roll up, and it was funny because Pablo's mom dropped them off, and she knew exactly what was happening and did not care. But she dropped them off, and they come strolling over, and they're just like, holy fuck, dude, how much did you smoke? Like, not because of how high Jacob and I were, it was just because of how high I was. Like, it was, it was ridiculous. Like, it was the type of shit where someone could look at me from 50 feet away and be like, what the fuck is wrong with that person? But, Jacob explained to him that I'm just high as fuck, and, I'm kind of fucking out of it. Like, alright, whatever. So then we go back to the tunnel, which is only like, 20, 30 feet away from the park we were at in the first place. So we walk back over there, and we start smoking. And I forgot to mention, there was also Tony's little brother here. He came with Tony, which, I mean, holy fuck. We were all 14, and his little brother was like 12. It was kind of fucked up. But I mean, I didn't really question it. But we all five of us went down in the tunnel, and we started smoking away. And I only took like one hit because I was so high that I didn't even want to take anymore because I knew I was gonna things were not gonna go well if I did take more than that. So I took one, and then I tapped out, and everyone started smoking. And it was funny because Tony's little brother, who I'm not gonna give a name because it doesn't really make a difference right now, he immediately was like, "Oh fuck, bro, I don't feel good. I don't feel good." They finished smoking, you know. I mean, at this point, I think we had only smoked like a bowl or two, and all of us were fucked up. So then at this point, we walked, you know, back to the park because what the fuck else are we gonna do? It's a bunch of 14-year-olds. And at this point, we're just fucking around. We're all stoned as fuck, and Tony's little brother had gone and laid down on the park bench because he was so fucked up and he felt like shit. And he just laid there looking like he was sick as fuck until he just fucking puked. And everyone was like, ew, what the fuck, bro? Alright. And then he just laid there for like another 20 minutes. And then he eventually got up and he was good. I mean, he didn't like have to go home or nothing. But this kid was 12, alright? Like, no shame in that. I remember, you know, we were just sitting there fucking around the whole time, just up to the goonery. And I remember, I don't even remember where it came from, but at one point, somebody had a can of Axe. And then fucking Tony was like, oh, dude, let's huff it. And then he proceeds to lift up his sweatshirt and then huff it. And then I'm pretty sure, like, his little brother did too. And I don't know if I did. I honestly don't remember because of how high I was. I want to say I didn't, but I really have no fucking idea. But yeah, we pretty much just, you know, did random shit like that for a couple of hours while we were baked as fuck, just fucking around on a playground as much as you can, I suppose. And then, you know, I don't even remember how we all went our separate ways or, like, what even happened. But, you know, we all went home and, we went on about our days. And this was honestly, like, one of the biggest reasons that I even got heavily into drug use and smoking and all of that in the first place was solely because of how fun this single day was. It was just, you know, an entire afternoon of just fucking around with the boys being stoned as fuck. And that was the first real experience I had of that. The only experience of smoking weed I had prior to that point was by myself. The first few times I smoked once with Jacob, and that's it. Outside of that, I had never smoked with anyone else. So this was like the first, like, you know, kind of group smoking experience I had where everyone got high as hell and fucked around. But yeah, that's about it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is one of the older life stories that I even have to tell. This is around the same era as you know, the sneaking out story and all that shit. And this is probably I would say this is, honestly, yeah, I think I can comfortably say this is the highest I have ever been on weed. It was to an insane level that I don't think I could ever get to anymore, even if I took years off of weed and came back to it. I was just on such another level of existence. It was unbelievable. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna be having more going up in the future. And yeah, have a good day, y'all. Peace.